principle, and it's called the 80-30 principle. Not the 80-20 principle, but the 80-30 principle.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a Matt Bird creation. Okay. And it's simply this, that you can break the back of any opportunity or challenge, or 80% you can achieve of any opportunity or challenge in 30 minutes. You know, if I want to write a book, for example, if I put 30 minutes of focused energy and effort into it, I know I can create the outline of the book in 30 minutes, or 80% of it.
Salutare! Episodul de azi va fi în limba engleză, ceea ce pe mine m-a făcut să mă simt total inconfortabil. Probabil veți sesiza diferite dezacorduri și lucruri de genul ăsta în podcast, dar mi s-a părut important ca dincolo de stresul meu și faptul că o să mă fac de râs în ochii unora, totuși să filmăm treaba asta. Invitatul de astăzi este Matt Bird, speaker și autor a peste 15 cărți. Pe lângă asta a fondat mai multe companii în întreaga lume. Ce m-a surprins la el a fost disponibilitatea lui de a vorbi cu oricine și de a-și da numărul de telefon foarte, foarte ușor. Pe de o parte am apreciat asta și mi se pare o calitate, pe de altă parte mi s-a părut, recunosc, și un pic ciudat. Vă invit să urmăriți videoul ăsta și să lăsați în comentarii cum vi s-a părut. Hi Matt, nice to meet you.
Great to be with you and all your community of listeners.
Thank you. Matt, I stalked you a little bit on internet.
You stalked me?
Yes, a little bit.
Is that not a criminal offence here in Romania?
I guess not.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And I see, it seems like you have more than 24 hours in a day. You are involved in a lot of projects, and please tell us a little bit more about what are you doing and how do you manage your time?
I'm a business and social entrepreneur. That's who I am and what I do, you know, in life. Mm-hmm. And I'm a serial and parallel entrepreneur. So I've started many things, and I start many things at the same time sometimes. So I've got 5 ventures at the moment, main ventures that I'm involved in.
Can you tell us a little, proposition about everyone?
Yeah, I run a publishing company. With a difference, because we coach people to write their books in 100 days. So 8 out of 10 of my students complete the manuscript for their book in 100 days. And then we enable them to publish their book. I run a property business called Notto Italy, about helping people find, purchase, refurbish and manage properties in the city of Noto in Sicily, Italy. Mm-hmm. That's a new business. I bought a place there. Others have seen me do it and now want me to help them do the same. Mm-hmm. I run a business called Relationology here with my business partner, SP. And we are passionate about working with amazing people to do amazing things through building amazing relationships, because we believe the true currency of life is relationships. And so we run a global membership club where we support, encourage and mentor leaders to be more relational in the way they do business. Mm-hmm. And what else do I do? Oh, yes, I run a global foundation called Neighbour. Okay. And we help churches to love their neighbours better and transform their neighbourhoods by rolling up their sleeves and getting involved in social need in their local communities. And we work in 17 countries across 4 continents. And then I have my speaking, writing, broadcasting work. So those are my 5 ventures, main ventures.
Okay.
I have lots of interest, but they're my ventures.
Wow. And how are you involved in all of that? You are involved like for period of times, or you are doing everything at the same time? How do you manage that?
Yeah, so the common factor in all those ventures is I started every single one of them. I'm the founder, okay. I'm the business entrepreneur or the social entrepreneur behind them.
Okay.
But what I do always is build team. And what I always do is look for a business partner. And that's that. I mean, I've always built team throughout my life, but in the last 3 years in particular, I've sought always to work with a business partner, at least one in every venture I do.
Okay. Wow.
Because I don't want, ultimately, I want to share the responsibility and share the rewards with other people.
That's generous, let's say.
No, I think it's sensible. Yeah, I mean, it's about looking after yourself, isn't it? And if the buck always stops with you, that can be quite stressful.
Okay, and in these 5 things you are involved, ventures, you are involved. Now they are working without you, or you are still involved in all of them?
I'm involved in every single one of them in some shape or form. I mean, in my global foundation, Neighbour, we've just appointed a chief operating officer because I want to lead the foundation, but I don't want to run the foundation.
Okay.
For example, with my property company in Italy, I have an Italian business partner, so he does all the Italian end. I mean, learning Italian, but it's piano. slowly. I work with him, and we have a great working partnership. With my publishing business, it's called PublishU, the letter U.com, and I coach over 100 people a year to write their books, and then we help them publish the books. So I have a head of publishing who looks after the entire publishing pathway that I've created and the system around that. But I do all the coaching. And so I'm actually in a process of automizing a lot of the support around the coaching model, because I would love to get to a point one day where other people can facilitate and coach others to write their books, because my input has been recorded, because all the materials have been translated into multiple languages, and because there's a IT system around it that sends out all the communication. So I always try and move to a point where what something needs of me is as small as possible.
Wow, very nice. Can you give us a little tips and tricks about time management, because it sounds like you are doing a great job in this field?
Tips and tricks. Yeah. It's a good question. I was chatting to a friend here in Romania this week who about how you get things done and get things done fast. And I have a principle, and it's called the 80-30 principle. Not the 80-20 principle, but the 80-30 principle.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a Matt Bird creation. Okay. And it's simply this, that you can break the back of any opportunity or challenge, or 80% you can achieve of any opportunity or challenge in 30 minutes. If I want to write a book, for example, if I put 30 minutes of focused energy and effort into it, I know I can create the outline of the book in 30 minutes, or 80% of it.
Wow.
If I need to crack a cash flow problem in one of my businesses, I know 30 minutes of focused effort and energy, I can break the back of coming up with a solution. If there's if we need to recruit a new team member, I know in 30 minutes I can break the back of a job description. So I don't know if break the back translates, but I can get 80% there on anything, I think, in 30 minutes. And then you think how many 30 minutes there are in a day.
A lot of them.
You can achieve a lot in a day if you break it down into 30-minute segments. So one of my approaches is I just believe in my mind that I can solve anything in 30 minutes. And so
sounds like deep work, if you're familiar with the...
Never heard of it.
Never heard. Deep work. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a book, but it's not written by you.
Perhaps I should. This is what I call the 80-30 principle. You can get 80% there on any opportunity or challenge in 30 minutes. So just do it. Don't procrastinate. Don't doubt yourself. And doubting yourself is a challenge, isn't it? Because we all have doubts about ourselves and our ability and self-limitations. I mean, what's your self-doubt?
I don't know.
Come on, I know you're meant to be interviewing me, but I'm turning the table now.
I told you I'm not very comfortable to speak in English with you.
Relax, brother, relax. So what's your self-limitation? I mean, you're a confident guy, you're an able guy, you're involved in lots of things, but what is it that you question about yourself when you come to a new challenge?
I don't know. Maybe I'm afraid I'm not the guy for the job. Sometimes I feel like I'm not. It's not my role there. Let's say.
Yeah. And why do you think it's not your role?
It depends on the.
Come on, give us an example.
I have nothing in mind right now.
I'm trying to dig in your mind now. Come on,
You're making coaching with me now?
No, I'm just asking you a question. I'm asking you a question. What is it that, when you come to a new challenge, what is it that niggles in you that says, I'm not sure if this is for me or if I should be doing this?
Mm-hmm. Maybe for example, let's say a practical example. This interview, I had the opportunity to make this interview with you.
Yeah.
But in my mind was, it will be in English. My English is okay, but it's not perfect. It's not like for a podcast or something. It's okay. I'm very well with English when I'm traveling. I learned English traveling, so I'm fine with that. But to make a video YouTube and it will remain forever, I guess, on YouTube, I'm not feel comfortable. Maybe I will miss this because my English it's not the level I want to be.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your honesty.
You're welcome.
By the way, your English is phenomenal and you're a great interviewer. But I think this is a great example that we all come to do something new that we've not done before with a little bit of self-doubt about whether we can do it and about whether we're good enough. I have, I remember at school, I didn't do, and you've been vulnerable, so I'm going to be vulnerable now.
Thanks.
So it's good. You can relax. I can see you're mopping your brow. I'm out of the hot seat. I remember at school I didn't do well, and my teachers put me in remedial English classes, remedial maths classes. I wasn't allowed to do computer studies because they told me my grasp of the English language wasn't good enough. I graduated from school believing I was stupid because that's what my teachers told me and gave the impression of about me. And that was really self-limiting for me in the early years of my working life, because when something didn't work out or didn't work or I failed at something, I immediately said, Matt, it's because you're stupid. Or if I faced a new opportunity, I'd start telling myself, Matt, you're stupid, you can't do that. And I've had to work very hard in my own life, particularly in business, to overcome that self-limiting belief. And I think everybody listening to this podcast or watching it on YouTube later, you've probably got something niggling inside you that could, if you allowed it, potentially limit you. And for me, the thing that really makes a difference in business and entrepreneurship is a transformation of your perspective on yourself and your perspective on life, and removing self-limitations that you might have.
And how did you do that? How did you go forward?
Do you know, whenever I talk about this subject, I always get asked that question. It's an important question.
Yes.
So let me turn it around for a moment. How did you overcome doing this podcast in English? How did you do it?
I wanted to not be limited by fear or something, and then regret that I had the opportunity but I didn't take it. So for me, being filmed, it's safe. If it was live, it was a little bit harder. But
I don't think they're going to need too much editing on this.
Filmed, it was a good thing. Like, if something is not okay, I will cut this part.
So you retained a little bit of control.
Yes.
That's interesting. So you overcame your fear and your doubt by thinking, if I don't do it, I'll have missed the opportunity, and I'll have some regret.
Exactly.
But also, you knew if the worst happened, the content could be edited. Those are two great ways to overcome, a fear or a doubt. if you're listening, why don't you just give it a go and overcome that fear? Don't let that opportunity pass you by because of some self-doubt within you. Give it a go and think, actually, what's the worst that could happen? Because actually the worst that could happen is very often not that bad. Give it a go, take a risk. Face the possibility you might fail at something, but learn from it. It's really, really important, I think, for us all. And I still have to massage my mindset. I still have to work it over and say to myself, Matt, come on, you can do this. You can write another book. You can buy another property. You can coach another course. You can speak on a platform again and again and again. And I have to. And yeah, that's a great example, actually. I've been speaking in public for 30 years, and whenever I approach a new event, and in the moments before it, I get butterflies. But actually, that's really important because it creates in me some positive nervous energy. And I think, I've done it before, I can do it again. And I always imagine, this is the other thing, I imagine when I speak what success looks like. I imagine the audience laughing at my jokes, and I don't have great jokes, so that requires quite some imagination. And I imagine the audience kind of leaning forward in their seats. I imagine the audience kind of being eager to soak up what I'm saying. I imagine taking the audience on a journey with me through my stories and through my insights. I imagine the audience then wanting to respond to my call to action. Towards the end of my talk.
Matt, what motivates you to do all of that? I mean, you are doing a lot of things. What motivates? Why are you doing that?
Well, lots of people, think that meaning in life is found by what you get. For some people, it's all about acquiring money. I think money is great. Money can be very useful. It's a tool in my hands. But for me, purpose in life, meaning in life, isn't found by what you get. It's actually found by what you give. And I've met lots of people with lots of power, lots of wealth, lots of this, that, and the other. But they totally lack meaning in their lives. And they're desperate to try and do something that gives them a sense of fulfillment and satisfaction. And for me, the key to finding meaning and purpose and satisfaction actually isn't in acquisition. It's actually in giving and creating opportunities for others. So that's what motivates me. So the PublishU business, coaching people to write their books. I love helping someone achieve something they thought they never could. I believe everyone has a book in them. You've got a book in them. Perhaps I should ask you in a moment what your first book's going to be, but that's just to give you a little pre-warning.
Okay.
But I believe everybody's got a book in them. And frankly, if remedial English Matt can write 19 books, then I believe anybody can write a book. And it's about mindset. I had a guy who graduated from my book course recently. And he said, Matt, I never thought I'd write a book, let alone write a book in 100 days. But I have. Now I'm asking myself, what else have I told myself I cannot do that I actually can? You see, actually doing something that you didn't think you could is addictive. Because once you've done one thing, like writing a book you never thought you could do, wow, what else could I do that I never thought I could do? And this comes back to mindset again. Can we overcome the self-limitations that we create for ourselves and take the lid off and take up a new challenge and take up a new opportunity and just overcome that resistance inside us? To venture out and start a new business, write your first book, build a team, grow something, create some value in society that other people want to pay money for. It's just having the belief that you can makes all the difference. Somebody once said, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're probably right. So I want to come back to this question. What book do you have in you? What book would you love to write? What's the story you want to tell, or the message you most want to communicate?
That's my question for you, man.
Oh, I've done it 19 times. Now come on, this is a conversation. So, what do you want to write?
I guess I have some topics in mind, but I never talked about writing.
That's why I'm here. I'm here to put you on the spot. You're in the hot seat now. So these topics, tell me the top 3 topics you might write about.
Probably one of them would be meaning and how I find meaning in life and what I think is the most important thing in life.
Great. I'd love to read that book.
Yeah.
Number 2?
Number 2 probably will be about how to manage money and independent financial, how to become financially independent.
I've written a book about that, but I'm sure you could write a better one. Okay. So the first, so we've got 2 ideas now, and the third one?
Probably about traveling and how to travel cheap.
How to travel cheap? Do you not want to fly first class?
No.
You don't? Oh, okay. Okay, fine. So there we go. 3 so meaning in life. Second one was
financial independence.
Financial freedom.
Freedom, yeah.
Okay, meaning in life, financial freedom, and traveling cheap. Okay, maybe you could do a little survey on your podcast and ask people which book they would most like you to write first, A, B, or C. It'd be interesting to hear what people have to say, wouldn't it?
Yes, I am interested.
But if you were to choose today, if I was to put you on the spot in the middle of this podcast, which one would you say, this is the book I'm going to write first?
Because I'm involved in this podcast and my mind is connected with this subject, probably like this will be the financial freedom.
Finding financial freedom.
Yes.
And doing a podcast like this, I guess you get to meet lots of interesting people who have perspectives on money and finding financial freedom. So your research is already done. How many of these podcasts have you done?
Probably 20, 30?
30. There we go. That's plenty of research for a book, isn't it?
Yes.
So
this guy Sabine told me that I'm coming here for university. Like I'm inviting professors to speak for me.
It's a great way. I tell you what, I learn most through the people I meet and listening to what their experience in life is. So I'd love to coach you to write your book.
Okay.
And wouldn't it be great, alongside your podcast, to have a book?
Yeah, would be.
Be awesome.
But can I come back to you, please? I have some questions about you. We will write the book in 30 minutes after the podcast.
Yeah, we can outline. Let's take 30 minutes after this interview. We can just quickly outline the book.
Okay, perfect. And we will sell on the channel. Okay, perfect.
I hope you don't edit this bit out, by the way. This is quite an important part of the podcast.
Another thing I observed stalking you, like I told you, it was you're marketing yourself a lot. I mean, it's about you a lot in the website. And for an Eastern European like me, that was, hey, that's not normal. Why is he doing that? So one of the questions
I'm not normal.
So one of the questions I want to put is, why are you doing that?
Well, it depends which website you looked at, because I've got several. So which one?
I don't know. The first one, I just write Matt Bird and... Yeah.
Matt-bird.com?
Let me see. Mattbird.com.
Yeah. Well, that's the website that's about my speaking, writing, broadcasting. So it is about me.
Yeah, it's about it.
So it's totally about me. But the Neighbour website, Neighbour, NAYBA.org, is, you can hardly find me. Yeah. So sometimes at the forefront of a venture, sometimes in the background of a venture. So I pick and choose.
Yeah, but it was interesting for me because I never I've never thought to write a book, and also I never thought to make a cosmindinu.com.
Wow, this is going to change your life, isn't it?
Why? Yeah, but why to do that? That's my question.
Well, because this is who I am. I'm larger than life. You know, I love to stand out. I love to stand out. I don't want to blend in the background anywhere, anytime. If I'm in a room, I love to be the speaker. If I'm in a room, I love to be telling stories and having fun. In what I wear, I don't want to blend in. I like to wear clothes that pop, you know, and that people notice. It's just, so why would I not be the same on social media? I mean, guys, if you're wondering, just go to Matt Bird Global. Whether you're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever it is, Matt Bird Global, go and check it out and just have a little look. My little strapline is living life large.
Cool. You told me about making teams and that you are involved in projects where you make teams and you have partners. Tell me a little bit more about delegating and what did you learn in 30 years about this?
I'm not that old, actually.
20 or 30?
No, I probably am. Just pulling your leg. What have I learned about teams and delegation?
Delegation, yeah.
Delegation
and how do you, how can leaders assure that they are delegating efficiently?
Gosh, that's quite a technical question. Basically, when you delegate, don't take it back.
Okay.
So I try not to do anything in life that I can get somebody else to do. So I only spend my time doing the things that only I can do. And so I always build teams. And because I run 5 different ventures, you know, I find great website designers, great PR people, you know, great lawyers, great social media people. And I actually often use them across all of my ventures. So when I find somebody that's really good at something, you know, I engage them, you know, across everything I do. So for me, delegation is about finding people that are really good at something I can't do, or who are really good at doing something I can do, but I shouldn't be doing it if I can find somebody else that can. Because I want to create, I'm constantly trying to create space in my life. For me, busyness is not a virtue. When I say to people, how are you? They say busy. I say, oh, I'm really sorry. Yeah, it's as if busyness is something to be proud of.
Yeah, it sounds important to be busy.
I don't want to be busy. I hate being busy. If I'm busy, I need to change some things. So for me, I'm on a forever journey to create space, because I know the value that I often add the most is in thinking new thoughts for a business idea or for a book or a project, or to solve a problem or grasp an opportunity. And to have those thoughts, I need space. Not just on my own, but I need space to hang out with a friend and have a meal without an agenda. But something will happen, you know. And, you know, I was here, last time I was in Romania, I was with my relationology business partner, SP, and we walked up a nice hill in Cluj, and it was a lovely sunny day, and looked out over the city, and we started to have a conversation about a venture we were involved in together. And we just had an amazing idea about how we could develop it. We put a conversation with our Australian business partner and told him about it. He says, great, let's do it. You know, so it's when you create space on your own, but create space with other people as well, that you can actually have some of your best ideas and come up with some of your best solutions and solve some of the most pressing challenges you might have. So, yeah, delegation is really important. You should not be doing anything you can get somebody else to do.
Wow.
That's my philosophy.
That's an important point.
And you only ever take it back if they fail.
Yeah.
And sometimes people can't do something, and at that point you have to take it back. But do not micromanage people, If you give somebody responsibility for something, you leave that responsibility with them. If they get stuck, they should come and ask you, and you should work it out together. But once you've given responsibility away, do not take it back unless they fail and you need to fire them.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. It's very, very nice you put it that way. Another question I have is, as a Christian, how do you take your identity from Christ and not from the lot of stuff you are involved? That's a personal question. In life, we tend to be very busy, like you said, and
No. I'm not busy.
Yeah, to do a lot of things. But
I'm purposeful. I'm not busy.
Okay. And having that many things running, how do you still have your identity in Christ and not in things you are involved?
Yeah, it's really important, isn't it? And one of those things you can be involved in is Christianity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a thing, isn't it? Do you find your identity in Christianity, or do you find your identity in Jesus? And we have to recognize that work actually gives us pleasure, and it gives God pleasure. It's actually a good thing to work and be creative. So, for me, my identity in Jesus is, at the core of who I am. And taking that space I talked about enables me to recenter and to find a place of peace in myself and with him. And that space is so important to keeping my faith at the center of what I do. But I have to tell you, I detest religion. I struggle.
I see.
What do you mean?
Your outfit, it's not religious.
What does a religious outfit look like?
I don't know, more sober and
more sober. But it's only 10:15 in the morning. Yeah, so there's I assume most people listening to this are not people of faith, but some will be. So excuse this bit of the conversation. But for me, there's the Bible and what the Bible tells us about God. And there's what I call the Christian playbook. And the playbook is like you have in business. It's like the operations manual. And, not everything that's in the Christian playbook is in the Bible. But sometimes we pretend it is. And Christianity can load us down with do's and don'ts and things that are acceptable and not acceptable and moralizing and all that stuff. But when you look at the Bible, wasn't the focus of Jesus' life and Jesus' work. And so for me, I struggle with the Christian playbook. I hate being told what to do, but I love being invited by Jesus to follow him.
Very nice.
And sometimes the invitation to follow Jesus, and all he asked us to do was to love God and love each other. And for me, that's what I try and live by. And the Christian playbook winds me up. And I guess I'm a bit of a rebel at heart.
Yeah, nice. Matt, you wrote 19 books, right?
Sure.
If I will never read any of them.
That would be very sad, wouldn't it?
Yes.
That would be
tragic. But give me 3 main ideas you have in those books.
Okay. One big idea, I wrote a book called Relationology. The idea is simply this, that the true currency of life is relationships. Some people think the true currency of life is money. Money is not the currency of life. It's relationships. It's relationships primarily that make things happen. Working through the relationships is the fastest, easiest way and simplest way to get anything done. And I believe in building, really authentic relationships. And so I carry a message of stop networking and start relationships. Networking is all about focused on what you can get from somebody. Relationology, as I call it, is focused on how you both grow as a result of being in a relationship together. So, pursue relationships where you grow, we both grow from knowing each other. Don't pursue relationships for what you can get out of them. So stop networking, start relationships. I mean, I'm sure there's people listening thinking, yeah, Matt, I hate networking. It's so contrived, manipulative, disingenuous, just yucky. Cool. Let's stop networking. Let's start relationships. That'd be message number one.
Wow. That's 80% of that book, right?
There we go. In 3 minutes.
Perfect. I guess we have time for all 19.
So, message number 2, I wrote a book called Freedom. How to live life free from anxiety about money. Because we all have anxiety about money from time to time, but we do not want that to be the norm, do we? You know, the norm we want in our lives is to live life free from anxiety about money. Now, my father, he never taught me anything about money. And I have 3 kids now, teenagers, 14, 16 and 18. And I thought, my father never taught me anything, and that was to my disadvantage. How do I ensure my kids have an advantage by me teaching them about money? So actually, primarily, I wrote this book for my kids. It's a book for adults, but I wrote it for my kids. And I wrote about 10 habits to help us live in a place of financial freedom. And I'm not talking about being wealthy, because you can be very wealthy but not financially free. And you can have very little and be financially free.
True.
So being financially free is not about how much you have. But again, it's about your mindset and your state of mind and how you choose to live with what you have. So, yeah, some people have said that's the best book I've ever written, Freedom, How to Live Life Free from Anxiety About Money.
I'm interested to read it.
Yeah, I thought you might be. And, yeah, another book, slightly different book, Matt's Notto, just published a few weeks ago.
Okay.
Notto,
the city
Notto,
from Italy.
Yeah. And Matt's Notto is actually my first travel guide. See, I've written business books, inspirational books, leadership books, and I've written a travel guide. So I bought this place during the pandemic and had it refurbished, and I was going down there once a month to see progress. And I love life. I'm a foodie, so I was visiting local restaurants. And I started making a note of local restaurants that were really good and not adding those that weren't. And then I started making a note of really the best beaches to go to. And then I thought, gosh, wouldn't it be great to actually have a little list of restaurants, beaches, walks, historical sites to go to for my guests if I have guests at my home. And then I looked at my photographs and thought, gosh, I'm only an amateur photographer, but some of these are damn good. So what began as my personal notes on Notto and some amateur photographs actually have now become a travel guide. So I'm actually a published photographer. It's quite funny, isn't it? All taken with my iPhone, but it's amazing what you can do with an iPhone. So Matt's Notto is all about how you can have the best possible holiday in Notto and the area in Sicily. So that's a new venture for me.
Okay, nice. I'm interested in that too.
Yeah, we'll just go to nottoitaly.com, N-O-T-O, Italy.com. And you can look at my website about how you can rest or invest, actually, in the city of Notto in Sicily.
Italy, it's really nice. I like it a lot.
Yeah, there's nothing not to love, is there? I mean, being from London, I mean, the sunshine alone makes it worth going.
True.
So those are my 3 books I'd mentioned. Relationology, Stop Networking, Start Relationships, Freedom, How to Live Life Free from Anxiety About Money, regardless of how much you have. And Matt's Notto, how to rest and invest in Notto, Italy. Nice. So those would be my 3. If I added a 4th, could I add a 4th?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. It's hard to say, no, isn't it? So the 4th would be the book I've got on the table here, actually. Also published last month. It's called The Great Entrepreneur. So one of the things I observe around the world at the moment, obviously like we all do locally, is that everywhere I go, people are struggling with the cost of living crisis. So I've written this book to help people address the cost of living crisis. And it's to recognize that government can't fix the cost of living crisis. Charity can't fix the cost of living crisis. Only enterprise can fix the cost of living crisis. Only taking agency about our own lives and our own family and our own community, our own nation, can we actually create an enterprise, which fundamentally is about creating value that other people will pay for. If we can create new value that other people will pay for, we will enterprise our way out of the cost of living crisis. Nobody's going to fix it for us. Let's take responsibility. Let's take agency. So that's what that book's all about. And as I travel the world at the moment speaking, that's the message I'm carrying.
Very cool. Can I have it?
Yes, on Amazon. I'll send you the link.
Hey, come on.
Go to Amazon, search The Great Entrepreneur or Matt Bird, and you'll find the book. You'll find my author's page. All 19 of my books are up there for you to enjoy.
Super.
Nice try.
I tried. We are at the end of this podcast.
Really?
And yes, and then we are going to speak about my book,
Yeah.
This podcast is listened by young professionals.
Yes.
Do you have any advice for them?
Well, I hope everything I've said is good
Yes.
advice.
Okay, Matt. It was a pleasure for me to speak, and it will be a pleasure to continue speaking.
Yeah, let's go and write your book, shall we? We've got 30 minutes. Let's go.
Perfect. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Wow! Chiar ai stat până la final? Mă, înseamnă că ți-a plăcut. Sau ai dat un skip doar să vezi dacă există un final. Dacă ești în prima categorie, te rog mult să le lași un comentariu și să dai video ăsta și altora. Hai, ne revedem!